Hey everybody, this is Todd Galdi with Cross Country Mortgage, and for this special edition of Who Do I Know, I have my new good friend, Autumn Adams, who is a family law attorney here in the Bay Area. And we're going to be talking a little bit about today about some of the challenges that people who are going through a divorce or through a separation have when there's a home involved, and especially if there's young children that are residing in the home with family, and if there's a home ownership involved, and maybe one of the two spouses is the primary breadwinner, how do they separate the property if the remaining family wants to stay in the home, right? And with conventional financing, it's a big challenge right now because we need 6 months of on-time payments after the judgment from the judge, and that could take 18 months, right?
Very common in California for divorce to take that long.
Awesome. Well, so what I want Autumn to share with us some of the challenges that the courts have with this scenario, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the solutions that we can have with some of the new financing that we have available. So if you could share with me what you were sharing before and how the challenges that people are going through right now with regards to this situation, that'd be awesome.
Yes, thank you. And Todd, I'm so glad that we're doing this today too, because I think that what we're going to talk about today could really help a lot of families. So in a traditional divorce, when there is a home involved, there are really three options for the families to distribute that house. So California is a community property state. We have to divide every asset and every debt of the marriage equally. So the first option is what is uncommon, where one party has the money and the ability to buy the other party out, the other party's community share out, and therefore the house can be divided. The second option, which is the most common option in the state of California, is that a party may want to keep the house, but can't actually afford to keep the house. So the house has to be put up for sale. So that way the party who is leaving the house can receive their community property share. The third option, which is becoming more popular, but the courts actually don't like this as an option because it doesn't end the community, which is where the parties will create an artificial date. So when the children graduate high school, when the children graduate 8th grade, 3 years after the remaining spouse, the spouse that stays in the house, is working full time, whatever that artificial date is that the parties agree to, that's when the house will be put up for sale. But until that point, the house is going to remain in both parties' names. And the reason the court doesn't like this is because it doesn't end the community. It continues the community on, and it leaves an asset that has to be divided later in a post-judgment order. So there may be, in the final judgment, it may say, on this date, January 1st, 2024, the house will be put up for sale. Because whatever the parties agreed upon has occurred. The children have graduated. Mom is working full-time. Dad is working full-time. If there's a problem, now we have to go back to court. And it takes months in California to get into court and see a judge. So judges do not want the parties to remain in the house, both parties' names to remain on the mortgage. But in order for the family to be able to achieve whatever the original goals that the family had before the divorce came into it, families are being forced to do this. And Todd, the reason why I was really excited to sit down with you today is I heard you give a presentation about a product that can actually help the families who want to stay in the home, either short-term or long-term. And I really think that this product is going to help the majority of my clients take away something stressful out of the divorce. So if you could please explain this wonderful financing program.
You bet. I'm honored to do so. So just to rehash the challenge right now with conventional financing, if this new financing didn't exist right now, conventional lending requires 6 months of on-time payments post-judgment, finality of the divorce, and then 6 months of on-time payments of the spousal and child support before that income can be used to qualify the remaining spouse for a refinance to keep them in the home. We have a new financing alternative called the 9 loan, and it's an acronym. NINE stands for No Income, No Employment. And this is an owner-occupied home loan for both purchase and refinance that requires no income and no employment. They're literally blank on the application. It's unheard of in today's financing. And a lot of people say, wait a minute, here we go back to 2008 and 2007. But the beauty of this loan is it does require assets, and it requires liquidity. It requires good credit, and then it requires equity, right? So those three things. And if you go back to 2008, 2007, before the crash, those are the three things that weren't required. And we were lending 100% financing with people with poor credit and had no money in the bank. And so if you take those three things away, you have a great financing option for people that can't get a conventional mortgage. So the beauty of the NINE loan is if in the scenario that you just explained, where we have a remaining spouse who wants to stay in the home, and maybe there's young children that are in the school districts, they don't want to be, have to move somewhere, and then you have a departing spouse, but the departing spouse has all of the income or most of the income. The NINE loan gives the remaining spouse the ability to refinance the home into their name. And you can remove the departing spouse from the mortgage and from title. And if there's enough equity in the home, they can actually get their cash out of the home, right? Which these days with the amount of equity that's in homes, it's actually pretty common that you can do that. So we're finding great success with couples that are going through a very challenging situation by being unable to finance and separate this property. The NINE loan has been a great solution for people going through what you've just described. So I'm really excited about this. I'm not excited about people going through a divorce at all, but this is it's a little bit better situation for people to be able to do this.
If you can remove one big stressful thing from a divorce, it just makes it a little bit easier. Divorce is never an easy thing to go through. But if we can take away child custody and what to do with the house are the two biggest issues in any divorce. And we can figure out a way to take some of that stress away and reach a solution, especially for the departing spouse. Mm-hmm. This NINE loan really will give power back to the remaining spouse while allowing the departing spouse to take their community property share and allow the community to end, so we don't have that lingering asset that we still have to divide at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. The power equalizes the balance of, because sometimes the departing spouse is the one that has
all the power, exactly,
the money. We would love for you to reach out if you have any questions. If this is intriguing you, I highly recommend you reach out to Autumn first. All of her contact info is in the video and then below. Because you may be at a certain stage of your separation or your divorce that may need more clarification, and whether financing is even necessary or how to structure it. And then Autumn will reach out to me. So if you're interested, give Autumn a call, and she'll roll out the red carpet for you, and hopefully collectively we can come together with a really good solution for your situation. So anyways, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Todd.
Absolutely.
This was amazing.
That's who I know, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.